Okay, I'm back. I felt like I was rambling and I feel like I needed a minute to just kind of get a little bit more focused, so I apologize. But hello, we're back. I just have a couple things that I want to share about. I put out a survey a while ago in terms of for my one-on-one coaching clients um, when I have them sign up for like a coaching call with me or they're filling out the application, I always ask like, what is it that you feel like is most holding you back right now? And I have one thing specifically on my heart that I feel really called to talk about in general. So let me just go. Let's see. Just gonna get everybody set up on Facebook. If you pop on live on Instagram, feel free to say hello. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're feeling. This is my first time doing it live again on Facebook or live again on Instagram in a long time. So I hope that you guys like this. I'm gonna start doing them weekly again on there as well, like I do in the Facebook group. So just give me uno momento. Okay, beautiful. Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulties today. I just feel like the video wasn't working out exactly the way that I wanted to, and I feel like I needed a minute to kind of get some water and regroup and everything, but I'm back. So yeah. So this whole concept that I just want to talk on for a moment is, and like I said, I asked those of you in my community this question a long time ago. Okay, hello, my love. Hello, Jenny. Let me know, like I said, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Is there any advice or guidance that you're needing at this moment? And if so, feel free to comment it in the comments of this video. But yeah, I had when I put out the survey for those of you that did the drop-in one-on-one coaching sessions with me earlier this month, which was so incredible. And I had so many, like literally booked up within like 2 or 3 weeks. And that's like what really helped me to, feel inspired to offer one-on-one coaching at a larger scale. So if you're watching this right now and you're interested, I have one more spot available for longer term or one-on-one coaching in a longer span of time. So you can do 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months. I still do have drop-in rates, but it's cheaper if you do the packages because then you're getting one call. The calls will be cheaper than if you get one itself. But again, I have options for everything. Feel free to message me if you have any questions. Jenny said, I'm feeling good. Been a testing week, juggling business and being a mom, but it's still been productive. I feel like my week has kind of been funky too, if I'm being honest. Like I just feel, I just feel like there's been a lot of imbalanced aspects of life that we're all trying to like get sorted out again. Like I was saying before, like I just feel like I've been so focused on work and so not focused on like taking care of my space that it's been making me feel super overwhelmed. So I definitely feel that in terms of like not feeling, balanced or it being a testing week. I invested in a VA, amazing, just for a one-off project, but OMG, it made such a difference. I love that so much. I'm actually considering investing in one myself or somebody that can just kind of manage like the little things in my business that I just don't really want to do anymore. So if anyone is a VA and watching this video and interested, feel free to message me. But I definitely. Jenny, can I ask you what you had them invest in just for my own personal, interest or curiosity? But yeah, so going back to what I was saying, I put out in the application for the one-on-one coaching, I had a section in there that said, in terms of like what would be like what topic do you want to hear more about that would be most helpful for you in achieving your goals? And a big thing that came through was like this idea of how to how to accept current circumstances without feeling stuck. And in general, with this statement, when I first read it, I was like, okay, like I can remember how I felt when I was back in this mindset as well. But like, you don't have to accept your current circumstance. And I think my number one thing around this topic of like how to accept current circumstances without feeling stuck is to not look at situations in your life as, you know, why did this happen to me? Of course this happened to me. My life never works out the way that I want it to. Blah, 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 whatever, with this victim mentality. I think when we can ask ourselves, like, you know, say there's a really hard situation in your life right now that you're going through, and you feel like you're stuck in this quote unquote current circumstances that doesn't feel, that's not where you want to be at the end of the day, right? It's asking yourself, first and foremost, the things that happened in life that are not making you feel fulfilled or make you feel like a failure, or you feel like it was a mistake, or you feel like something bad happened, or somebody did something bad to you, or somebody made you feel like shit, or like this whole downward spiral of like any negative situation in life. It's like asking yourself, like, what did this teach me? Like, instead of being in this mindset of, and this is where like mindset shifts can be so simple but so effective in really shifting the energy of the way that you live your life from, of course this happened to me, poor me, like whatever, being in this like victim sulking mentality, right, which is not empowering, and it's not helping you to take your power back, and it's really just your ego taking over and really staying in this energy of what you don't want, right? And I always talk about energy and how the way that we think is manifesting into the reality that we have, right? So if you're constantly walking around saying bad things always happen to me, like nothing ever works out in my favor, people treat me like shit, whatever, right? You're going to manifest more of those things in your life because that's the energetic frequency that you're at. So in terms of this, like really shifting your mindset from poor me to like, what did this teach me? How did this make me a better version of myself? So that you can shift out of that energy of feeling stuck in low vibration and being in alignment with this bad thing that happened, asking yourself, how did this make me a better version of myself? What did this teach me about who I am? And really using that to shift into a higher frequency of living, right? So instead of saying like, how can I accept, hello Sarah, how are you, my love? Instead of saying, you know, how can I accept my current circumstances without feeling stuck? Well, that's how you don't feel stuck, is you don't stay in this victim energy of what has happened to you. Or, and you know, there's a lot, I mean, depending on the severity of the situation, like there could be a lot of things around, you know, in terms of like forgiveness and having to forgive yourself and having to forgive other people, and like writing I will tell you, one of the most therapeutic things is if there's some situation from your past that you feel like you're still holding on to, writing a letter of forgiveness to that person who has hurt you, or to that situation, or to yourself, or that version of yourself, and saying, I forgive you, I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, and saying like, I know that you are doing the best that you can, and like, thank you for making me a better version of myself. This is X, Y, and Z, what you've taught me and how you've made me a better version of myself, really helps to heal that energy so that that thing can be like out of your energetic field and like, see you bye, this is no longer a part of who you are, we're moving forward. I'm going to come back to this in a minute. Jenny said, hired a VA for her landing page for one-on-one coaching and the email templates going out to the new subscribers, formatting, branding. I had my content, but she made it sound better. I love that. I love that. I love that. Let me know how it goes. I feel like it's also just really nice to like, I don't know, delegate things in our businesses that we don't feel, either that we don't feel called to do, or that we just don't feel, I don't want to say don't feel good at, but it takes us longer to do than somebody else who specializes in it. I feel like this is the most perfect timing for me. I needed this message. Yeah, and it's like, well, I'm glad that it lands first and foremost, but like in terms of, like I said, this mindset about, you know, not feeling stuck in your current circumstance, it's literally just a mindset shift. And it's literally asking yourself, in this, you know, not so great situation, and in this situation in life where you feel stuck right now, like asking yourself, where is it in life that I feel stuck right now? Do you feel stuck in your job? Do you feel stuck in your relationship? Do you feel stuck financially? Do you feel stuck with where you're living? Like, where is it in life that you're feeling stuck? And then asking yourself, you know, we can do this here. So Jenny, let me ask you this, like, where in your life right now do you feel stuck? Like, where is it that you're feeling in this energy of, you know, just feeling like you're settling in your current circumstances? Like, I want to know what comes through for you, and if anything comes through for you guys watching the replay, I would love to hear it as well. Just feel free to comment it. But like for me, one way or one thing that I really felt stuck in was my old job, and I remember being in this victim mentality of thinking that I had to stay in this position like for longer than I did. And I think when we put societal pressures on ourselves, or when we say, well, so-and-so did it this way, so I have to do it this way, like we know ourselves better than anyone else knows ourselves. And I think when we can trust our gut and trust our soul and trust our like internal guidance system in making decisions and really anything in life, like that's like always going to be the best way to act and the best way to make decisions. But like I literally remember feeling stuck in my old job and really being in this energy of like what was asked, like how do you accept your current circumstance without feeling stuck? And it's like, if you're not happy where you are, you don't need to accept your current circumstance. Like you can shift, you can move, you can shift out of it. And and this is why, so for me, in terms of my old job, like it was like, okay, like even though this was not a great situation for me, like what did this teach me? How did this make me a better version of myself? Well, it made me a much tougher nurse. It made me very resilient and very emotionally strong in my nursing practice. And I just go through this whole thing of like, I met really amazing coworkers, and I learned how to best take care of myself and what job is going to really foster this energy of self-care and nourishing myself and taking care of myself. Because and you guys know this because of what I do on here and what I do just in general with my content, and like what I'm really big about talking about is like this whole aspect of self-love and self-care. And it's like if you're emotionally being like, if you day after day after day of the life that you're currently living are feeling stuck, and you're feeling like this isn't where you want to be, and you're feeling like there's more in life for you than where you are right now, like you do not need to stay where you are. Like if you need permission if you need someone to tell you like that you're allowed to shift out of the current situation that you're in, job, relationship, financial situation, where you're living, like who you're with, whatever that looks like for you, if you need someone to give you permission to shift out of something that's no longer serving you, I'm giving you the permission right now. Like, and I think, I don't know, overall, like in terms of this whole thing for me, it's like I convinced myself that I had to stay stuck and I had to suck it up with where I was until I hit a breaking point where I physically and mentally was like, I cannot do this anymore. I was starting to feel sick. My mental health was down the drain until I left that job in February. And I really just, I don't know, overall, I just had this breaking point of like, why is it that I keep convincing myself that I have to stay in this position or in this situation in life that makes me feel like shit? Like that's not self-love, right? That's not self-love, right? That's just like prolonging your suffering. And it might not even be as dramatic as this example, but it's like with this job, and I'm gonna read through the comments in a minute, Jenny, and I'm just giving like an example. And again, this might be something a lot less intense on the scale. I'm giving you like my most intense example, but just I remember like literally sitting down and asking myself like, okay, if this isn't what I want, what do I want? And it was like getting clear on like what I wanted in life, what I wanted to do for work, and like not beating around the bush about it, and not saying like, okay, well I want this, but I have to wait until X, Y, and Z happens. It's like, I want this, I'm going to seek out opportunities for it, and I'm going to go after it. And now, here I am, like, however many months later, 4 or 5 months later, and I'm working in my dream nursing job, the job that I've always wanted. And it was like, I knew I've always wanted this job, but I settled with the other one thinking this is the first step. This is what everybody in nursing school tells me I should do, is that I should work med surg. And my heart just was never in it. And nursing is a very tough job to be in if your heart's not in it. And it was just like, you know, I really truly believe that I was in that, and thinking back, and this is what I mean about, you know, what did this situation teach me? If you were in a situation that made you feel like that was really hard on you and it was really tough on you mentally and physically and emotionally and whatever, like, you know, we always look back and say, well, that happened because, like, for me, I was in that job because I needed to learn how to take care of myself. I needed to learn how to put my needs above other people's, right? I needed to learn how to take responsibility for my life and take responsibility for going after what it is that I wanted. And I needed to learn how to be confident in myself in going after these things that I desired, right? So, and really tapping into that energy of, like, you know, this is what I like, getting clear on what I want, getting clear on why I didn't think I could have it, you know, reminding myself that those beliefs were not ultimately true, going through the process of you know, forgiving the people who taught me that that taught me these limiting beliefs, and then asking myself, what can I choose to believe instead? And that belief system was literally like, I'm open to the possibility that my dream labor and delivery nursing job is out there. And guess what? Here I am 4 months later, working in this job that I love so much. And it's like, all because I took responsibility and said, enough is enough. I don't like this. I'm not happy. I didn't even know how it was going to unfold, but, like, here I am, right? And I really think it was because I got specific on what I desired and all of that stuff as well. Let's see. Jenny said, I'm just feeling stuck in the middle of a lot of pressure. Pressure I've been putting on myself, though, like, to be perfect, to be different. Lots going on. It's just got a bit overwhelming. I think that I've not been organized. That's what happens when I'm not organized, so totally my fault. Don't think I feel stuck in the sense of life right now, but I do need to make some changes to make life easier. And you said, I don't know if this is making any sense. That is making total sense. Let me ask you this, Jenny. How specific are you on the life that you want to be living? Like, how specific are you in terms of your goals? How specific are you in terms of your dream life? How specifically do you know what it is that you want? Because I think it can be really easy for us to get stuck in this perfectionism mindset, or to feel overwhelmed when we're not clear on what it is that we want, or when we're not revisiting this vision on a daily basis. So I just want to know, like, how clear do you feel like you are in terms of what it is that you desire in your life? Because I think when we just kind of, like, vaguely know, or we think we know what it is that we want, but we're not clear on what it is that we're reaching for, you know, I think that's when we tend to get distracted with, like, what other people are doing. And, you know, especially if you're in the online space, like, okay, well, you see this person who has courses or who has coaching doing this thing, and she has a YouTube channel, but you have a podcast, and this other person has a blog, and then this person's using Pinterest, and then this person, like, everyone is doing things in their own way. And I really, I guess I just ask this because when we're clear on goals and we're clear on where it is we want to go, like, it's that much easier to get there because we have the end in sight, and we can therefore like reverse engineer what it is that we desire. So I want to know, like, and even, I mean, honestly, tell me in the comments, like, what, and you can tell me yes or no if you feel like you're really clear on your dream life and that vision that you have. But then I want you to go into detail about what that looks like for you, so we can really evaluate if you are specific enough. And I think sometimes we also, like, let's see. I've pictured out what my dream life and dream day is, but when I'm under pressure, I don't seem to remember that dream life because I'm in that bubble of stress and can't see out of it until I've done what I've needed to do. Okay, so here's my thing. My whole philosophy is that if something is not in alignment or something does not feel good, it's either not the right timing or it's not what you should be doing. So what I mean by that is, like, for me, like, I've led in my business, I've led, like, mentorships or memberships, like monthly membership before, where I had trainings once a month, and I, like, whatever. And it was an idea that I had got from a membership that I'm a part of, but for me, that didn't feel good. So it's like, really, like, and again, this is just a reminder to you that, like, you don't have to run your business the way that everybody else is running their business. You can run it in the way that feels not only most exciting to you, but also, like, most in alignment with you. So Jenny, I just want to know, and if you don't mind, like, comment and tell me, like, what does that dream life look like for you? Like, tell me in the comments what that looks like so we can really get more specific and narrow it down. And this is what I was talking about earlier too, in terms of, like, you're under pressure and you don't seem to remember that dream life on the days where you're feeling overwhelmed or where you're feeling stressed or when you feel like you have a lot to work on. But it's like, what are you working on that thing for? To achieve that dream life, right? So it's like really making sure that the dream life this dream that you have for your life is in alignment with what you truly want, not what other people are doing, not what your spouse wants, not what your partner wants, not what your family thinks you should do or society thinks you should do or what you see on social media. It's like, what is it that you truly want? And, like, an example of this for me is, like, in my business, I've purchased a lot of different courses around business and mindset and money mindset and self-love and, like, all of these different things. But, like, I feel most called to coaching. Like, I feel most called to one-on-one coaching and group coaching and doing lives and things like this. 'Cause that's just the way that I feel I teach best. So it's like, you know, really releasing this expectation that you have, and tapping into, like, your heart center and tapping into what is it that you truly want out of life, right? So tell me, I just would like to know, and I'm sure you're typing it right now, but, like, tell me what that dream life looks like for you currently. Like, when you picture it, what does it look like? And really, like, how can you get into a habit of revisiting your goals every single day? Like, for me, and this is just something that I started doing over the last week or so, because I was feeling pretty much the same way in terms of just, like, overwhelmed and didn't really feel focused in terms of what I was working on and why I was working on it. So, you know, how can you start to revisit these goals every single day and, like, tap into the excitement of it rather than tapping into the stress? Does that make sense? Let's see. I'm married, 2 children, living in the house we are completely renovated and have my own office, which we are working on now. Love it. I'm working on my coaching business full-time and financially supporting my family. So now I want to know, I'm going to tough love you. I want to know what does that coaching business look like to you? What are you offering? Who are you helping? And how are you helping them? This is like our whole call that we had the other day about getting specific. Because this is the important part, is like, because you're going to create more work for yourself if you're more broad about this than if you're like, this is who I help, this is how I help them, this is what I create. Bam. Business structure, right? I work on my coaching business full-time and financially support my family, mortgage-free, traveling the world's public speaking. We're marking our children. Come with. I have very clear visions of this in so much detail. Like, I see the stage with me on it and everything. Family holidays. I work 4 hours a day as a coach. Okay, beautiful. So, yeah. So I want to know, who do you help? How do you help them? And what is it that you're offering? Married, 2 children, living in the house you're in, completely renovated. I think that's very specific. Like you said, you're working on your office. And then in terms of, like, financially supporting your family, like, what does that mean? How much money does that mean you're making? That's what I mean, is, like, these are the things, like, the subtle shifts in getting more specific, that it's like, okay, you're working on your coaching business. Okay, who do you help? How do you help them? You know, what is it that you're doing? Because this, like, painting this picture, Jenny, gives you the structure for your days. So it's like, instead of saying I'm working my coaching business full time, no, I help this person to do this. I help them in whatever ways. Like, what platforms are you using? Are you creating courses? Are you doing a membership? Are you doing one-on-one coaching? Excuse me. And, like, I think it's also really important, like I just said before, I think it's really important to ask yourself in terms of like, who am I helping? How do I help them? I think that's pretty like heart-centered, right? You're going to come up with something that feels really good to you. But then from there, like when you ask yourself like, okay, how am I serving them? What is it that feels best to you? Like, what is it that, like what is it in your business that excites you most? You said I'm offering group coaching calls, which I launch every 6 months and is my signature Be Fearless course, as well as one-to-one coaching. Okay, beautiful. So I help women. So you're doing one-on-one coaching and group coaching, opening it up every 6 months. Okay, beautiful. I help women who need clarity on their vision I help women who need clarity on their vision from thought/idea to mindset to implementation. Okay, so beautiful. So you know how you help people, you know who you help, you know how you help them, right? So the coaching, group coaching with your course and one-on-one coaching. I would literally just break that down simplest. Like I help women get clear. I help women get clear on their vision and I help women get clear on their vision and help them create a plan to make this a reality. I help women get clear on what they want in life and put a plan together to make that their reality. Bam, that's it. That is your, like, the simpler the better. We talked about this as well. But like literally, I help women get clear on what they want out of life and put a plan together as to how to get there, right? Or whatever that feels like to you. Because I feel like, and we talked about this too, the more simple you are, the more people are going to resonate with what you're doing. Because I think that whole thing saying, I help women get clear on what they desire, or I help women get clear and specific on what they want, and help them put a plan together in terms of how to get there, that's what you're doing essentially. Like that resonates better, I think, as a consumer. Like if I were to read that versus I help women who need clarity on their vision from thought/idea to mindset to implementation, they're going to be like, what does that even mean? And what it really means is I help women get clear on what they want and help them put a plan together to make it their reality. Like that's what you do. Does that make sense? How does that feel? And I told you I just went through a whole training about niching down, and that's why I'm so coaching you through this now. That's the thing. I've not made any financial goals. So you need to make financial goals. So tell me, and you can calculate this right now, like, so like how, and we're going to get like deep into this, but like how much, in terms of wanting to pay off, so we're clear on married, we're clear on 2 children, we're clear on living in the house that you want with your office. We're clear on the business, financially supporting my family, mortgage-free, traveling the world, public speaking. So I feel like mindset is my forte, so I need to put that in there somehow. I mean, yeah, for sure, but like, you could even say like, I help women shift their mindset to, yeah, but it's like, this is the thing, like you're going to do mindset coaching regardless with these people. And they just care about the end result. So it's like, I help women get clear on what they want and put a plan in place to make it possible. But in your work, you're going to be doing mindset work anyway. But what I mean is somebody who feels like they're struggling, someone who feels like they have no idea what they want out of life, someone who feels like they have these big goals but they don't know how to make it possible, they just care about getting clear on what they want and making that their reality, like, and they're gonna be fine with however that looks in terms of your coaching. So with you helping them with their mindset, like that, they're gonna, like, that's how you're gonna help them, right? You don't need to like tell them, hey, I'm gonna help you get clear on what you want and, you know, manifest, or I'm gonna help you get clear on what you want and create the plan for your vision by working on your mindset. It's like, no, you're gonna help them. Mindset's just a part of it, right? It's just a part of this big picture of this, like we said, like the umbrella of what it is that you do. Does that make sense? Because yeah, mindset is definitely your forte, but that doesn't need to be a part of your niche. Doesn't need to be a part of your niche statement. Okay. So then in terms of financial goals, like how much money, Jenny, like how much money would you feel, how much money would you feel comfortable with, or how much money would you, how am I trying to, like how much money would you need to make in a year or in a month or in a week to pay off your mortgage, or to feel financially supported, or to travel? So like literally making a list of like how much is your mortgage, right? And then like from there, how much is left on your mortgage? How long do you want to pay it off over? Divide that number, come up with how much money and how many years, and tell me that right now. I want to know. If you're on here, say hello. I can't see who's on. I just see the two little eyeballs on Facebook. But yeah, tell me like how much that would cost you each year. And then from there, what would the rest of, like how much would you ideally need to be making a year to pay off your mortgage, travel, and financially support your family? Like calculate it. Calculate how much it would need to be. I need to work out all of those things. So this is where I tough love you. Like, get out your calculator and do it now and tell me what that looks like. Just put a rough estimate together of what are your how much are your monthly bills right now? How much would it, like breaking down how often do you want to travel? So say you want to travel 4 times a year, right? If you want to travel 4 times a year, I'm gonna help you with this if that's okay with you, if you give me permission to do so. Sometimes I just like jump the gun on it, but tell me yes or no if that's okay. And if not, and if you want to do it on your own, totally fine. But just make sure that you get specific on this, because that's the other thing. If you haven't hit your financial goals, it's probably because you haven't set them. So like you're not specific enough on what you want. So yeah, that's one thing that I would say. So let me know if you want to do it on here or if you want to do it on your own. But this is really, really important for you to do, is to get clear on how much money you need to be making to hit these goals. Let's see. Yeah, so just let me know. And then traveling the world, public speaking, where Mark and our children come with. I have clear visions on this in so much detail. Like I see the stage with me on it and everything. Love that. I love it so much, and I'm so excited, and I'm so ready for that to become your reality. But yeah, like, and then so that's beautiful. But then I also want you to get clear on where are you traveling? How often are you traveling? You know, and do you see how it's not just like I'm married, I have kids, I'm full time in my business, all of our bills are paid, like we're traveling the world. Like those are all very beautiful things, but it's like, how can you get more specific, right? Which we've already done. So like you're married, you have 2 children, you're living in the house that you're in, completely renovated, have your own office, working your full-time coaching business where you help women get clear on what they want in life and help them create a plan to get them there. Like, bam, more specific, right? Through your group coaching and your one-on-one coaching. And then from there, like, you are making X amount of dollars a year, right? So coming up with that number, you're traveling X amount of times a year to these destinations. And then your public speaking where Mark and your children come with. You have very clear details in this. Like you see the stage with you on it. You know what it is you're going to be talking about. You have your family holidays and you know how many hours. Let's see. And you know how many hours a day you want to work. So beautiful. Like, do you see how I need to get all these figured out? I need to get all the figures out on the mortgage because I don't currently deal with that. I'm awful with numbers. Okay, so shift that mindset. Is it ultimately true that you're awful with numbers? Absolutely not. And I think that's one of the most empowering things that you can do is get clear on your finances and look at how much money's coming in and how much money's going out and get clear on the mortgage and get clear on how much time you want to pay it over and then get clear on what that looks like in terms of how much you're going to pay, right, each month, each year, fitting that into your financial goals. That's the thing. I have the dream, but I'm not specific, and that's where my blocks are. Yeah, and that honestly, it's such a quick block to shift. It's literally just by asking yourself, how can I get more specific on this? How can I, and that's literally what I'm working you through right now. So, you're married with 2 children, living in the house that you're in, completely renovated, have your own office, which you're working on now. You're working your coaching business full time, where you help women get clear on what it is that they desire, so that they can go after, and help them put a plan together to go after this life of their dreams. Throw a number at me, Jenny, of how much money you would like to be making in a year. Just throw it out there. Throw it out there. I don't care how big or how small, throw it out there. So that's one thing that needs to get more specific about. And then I also want to know how often, so tell me that first. What time frame do you set? With my goals in general, or you're talking about with my financial goals? I normally do I normally like to set them yearly, but then I break that down to how much that would be in a month so I can see where I'm at. So I would start with how much money do you want to be making in a year? Tell me that number. And then from there we can work back. That's where I would start. So yeah, give me that number. And then, so that way we can see how much money you would be making in a year. 500,000 comes to mind. That is my goal as well. So that's in alignment. Okay, so going back to the vision. So you're married, you have 2 children, you're living in a house where you are, which is completely renovated. You have your beautiful office, which you're working on now. You're working your coaching business full time, where you're helping women get clear on what they want and put a plan together to figure that out and put a plan together to implement that, making $500,000 a year, which helps you to support your family, you're mortgage free, and then you're traveling the world with Mark, public speaking, where your Mark and your children come. So tell me this now. This is the other thing that I want to know. Crazy big. Yeah, but it's so exciting, and it's so possible, and it's so going to happen for you. Just putting that out there. So now tell me, so that breaks down to how much would that break down to in every month? My phone, I guess I could just do it on this calculator. I'm awful at math. For those of you guys that are watching this and are like, how can you not figure that out on your own? So 500,000, divide that by 12. So that's we could say $42,000 a month. End goal, right? Which sounds crazy. And you might be like, holy shit, that's crazy. Yes, that's crazy. But that's where, this is where we go through and we say, well, why is it that I don't think I can have this? Why do I think that this isn't possible, that I can't make $500,000 in a year? Well, I don't think that because X, Y, and Z. Are these ultimately true? Of course they're not, right? Where did I learn this? Did I learn it from my parents? Did I learn it from society? Did I learn it from my grandparents? Did I learn it from my friends? Did I learn it from TV? Where did I learn it? And then what can I choose to believe instead? And it's I am open to the possibility that I can make $500,000 a year doing what I love and sharing my gifts with the world. Bam, done. Okay, so then tell me now, how many times a year do you want to be traveling? Give me a number. How many times a year do you want to travel? So you can give me that number first. Yeah, so how many times a year do you want to travel? Okay. But when do I say I want to do this by? I have no idea when this will happen. Or do I not need to be that specific with a date when earning $500,000? I feel like, I don't know. I don't put I'm gonna be making $500,000 a year by 2022. I don't do that. I just say I'm open to the possibility that I can make $500,000 a year doing what I love. That's it. I feel like as long as you're specific on it and you're holding this vision, it doesn't really matter in terms of setting this due date by. Because I feel like two things. One, if you set the due date and then it becomes the time for that date, and then if you haven't hit that goal, it might be discouraging for you. Or, I don't know. Or it could be one of those things where it's like, let me see. Or it could be one of those things where it's like, you could say you want to hit this goal in like 10 years, but like you could hit it in 5 if you didn't put that limit on yourself. Does that make sense? So I literally just say, like, I am open to the possibility that I'm making $500,000 a year doing what I love and sharing my gifts with the world. That's it. Or I'm open to the possibility that I'm making $500,000 a year to follow my intuition and fulfill my life's purpose. That's like my mission statement, because that's like my niche. So this is the first time I've worked this out, because I haven't worked out how many times I want to travel. So I'd say 4 times a year. Mine is also 4 times a year. I didn't want to tell you that when you were setting the goal. I feel like we're the same person. But okay, so, let's see. So you're traveling 4 times a year. Public speaking, where Mark and your children come with. You have clear visions on this, so in so much detail. You know the stage. You see the stage with you on it and everything. So tell me now, where do you want to be traveling to be giving these talks? Give me destinations that feel like a dream to you. Both in terms of your vacations, like in terms of where you want to be going on holiday, but also where you want to be giving these talks. I love this. And I'm sure, like, as you're doing this too, and if you guys are watching the replay, feel free to do this in like your journal with your own vision. It gets more exciting when we're more specific on what we want, rather than just saying like, I want to be working full time and I want to be doing this, and like very generic, rather than like, you see how we're breaking all of this down right now. And Jenny, I want to know how it's feeling for you to break this down, because I think when we're specific, we're not only telling the universe like, hey, this is what I want, I'm ready for it, I know this is what I want, I'm declaring it and putting it into the universe, like I'm putting my intention out there, but also when you're specific on it, you know what the right next step is even quicker, because you know, this is where I want to be, this is the right next step, I'm going to take action, rather than being very general about it and then it being like this, I don't know. I think when we're very general and vague about our goals, it's like we just create a lot of room for excuses, and we create a lot of room for procrastination, because we're like, well, I want to be working full time in my business. And then you're like, but I don't know what that looks like. And you just keep saying like, well, I don't know what that looks like. So like, I don't know what actions to take, and I'm just holding myself back. And then you're not making the money that you want, and you're not traveling the way that you want. And like, you know how it is. So yeah, tell me destination-wise, where you want to be traveling for vacation, and also where you want to be traveling to give your talks. I have no idea where I want to travel. I will be in arenas, but don't know where. So Jenny, where feels exciting to you? Just give me travel destinations that feel exciting to you right now. It doesn't have to be this end goal thing. Just tell me, like, where would it feel really cool to travel to? Yeah, just like, and it doesn't have to be like this perfectionism mindset of like, well, I don't know where I want to travel, so I don't want to set this goal. It's like you're prolonging your success by doing this, because you're being vague, and by being vague, you're creating room for excuses, and by creating excuses, we're like creating room for action not to be taken, which is just going to take longer for you to get the goals that you want. Does that make sense? So tell me, like, what travel destinations excite you most? They could be anything. Just throw some at me. Because you're going to get more excited about this vision if you know how many times a year you want to travel, you know where you want to travel, or an idea of where you want to travel. Okay. Australia, the US, and Dubai. Not sure where else. Okay, so tell me now, where in Australia and where in the US do you want to travel to? I'm doing my vision board this weekend, so I will add all of this on there. Absolutely. Yes, you will. Send me a picture of it when you're done. So yeah, like, Now I want to know what parts of Australia, what parts of the US, what parts of Dubai. And then we're going to go through and paint the vision one more time. And then what I want, and I'll take it a step at a time before I get ahead of myself. This is literally, though, the process that I do when I come up with my goal setting and when I come up with, like, my vision and how I come up with, like, what I read every single morning is, like, I literally get super specific. I literally got no idea. I'm going to look into it. Okay, so look into it, okay? So going back to this vision now, I have one more question for you. In terms of working 4 hours a day as a coach, what work will you be doing in those 4 hours? Like, what work is going to make up those 4 hours? Is it client calls? Is it recording a podcast? Is it, like, what does that look like for you in terms of creating, in terms of 4 hours of work? Tell me what work activities you think you would be doing in this time. Throw them at me. It would probably be, like, client calls because you're doing one-on-ones, recording content, right? Either for YouTube or the podcast or whatever that looks like. And connecting on Instagram, right? But tell me if there's more. Tell me what that would look like for you. In an ideal day of work, what would you be doing in those 4 hours? And I hope that this is helping, not only Jenny, but everybody else that's watching the replay. Because this clarity is so freaking powerful, it's not even possible. So just tell me what that looks like in terms of, like, what those work hours would look like. Like, what would you be doing in those work hours, right? And then from here, like, once we go through... let's see. Yeah, so literally going back to your vision. You're married and you have 2 children. You're living in the house you're currently in, completely renovated, have your home office. You're working in your coaching business full time where you're helping women get clear on what they want and putting a plan in place to help them get there. Making $500,000 a year doing what you love and serving people. Which supports you in supporting your family, being mortgage-free, and traveling the world 4 times a year to places like Australia, the US, and Dubai, where you're public speaking, where Mark and your children come with you, having a clear vision on what, like, being on the stage, seeing what that looks like, going on lots of family holidays, and working 4 hours a day doing blank. And that's the last part that I want you to fill in for me. 10 to 12 content creation, filming YouTube videos, recording podcast episodes, creating course programs, arranging events, and slow cues. Awesome. So now what I want you to do, Jenny, when we get off of this, now that you have this, first of all, tell me, how does this feel to gain this clarity around this? I love how this is like a one-on-one coaching session for you. Tell me what this looks like for, like, tell me, how do you feel now that you're more clear? I hope that you feel more in alignment. I hope you feel more focused. I hope you feel more inspired or more motivated. I just would love to know how you're feeling. And then I have a little bit of homework for you. And again, homework for people who are watching this, who have been following along and doing this exercise with us. And this is going to be helpful, everything that we're doing right now. Speeches, arranging events and speeches. I work 2 to 4 doing calls 1-to-1 and group coaching programs. The afternoon is more about training, etc. Love it. So yeah, so tell me, how does this feel now that you're more specific? And like I said, for those of you watching the replay, like, do this exercise yourself and walk yourself through getting really clear and specific on your goals. I'm going to be launching a podcast episode within the next couple of weeks about my morning practice and what I've been doing to focus in on this vision. So create this vision now so that when the episode comes out, you can follow the morning rituals and the morning, like my motivational morning practice. I feel like there's so much that I should have thought about, which I haven't, but I love that I can go away and work on it and be clearer. Yeah, and it's like, but this is enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be this like super complex thing. Like, this is enough. Like, so what I would do is, once we get off this call, get out your journal and literally write in your journal, I'm so grateful to be living my dream life. I'm so grateful to be married. I'm so grateful to be married to Mark, have 2 children, living in the house where we are, completely renovated. I love my office. I'm working full-time on my coaching business. I'm working full-time in my coaching business where I help women in one-on-one settings and group coaching settings to get really clear on what it is that they want in life, and I help them put a plan together to make that possible. I'm very grateful to be making $500,000 a year doing what I love. I'm very grateful to be making $500,000 a year doing what I love, financially supporting my family, mortgage-free, traveling the world 4 times a year to places like Australia, places like the US, places like Dubai, where I public speak with Mark and my children come with me. I'm so grateful to be on stages, speaking to large amounts of people about things that I'm so passionate about. I'm so grateful to be going on family holidays, and I'm so grateful to be working 4 hours a day, 4 hours a day doing content creation, filming YouTube videos, recording podcast episodes, creating course programs, arranging events and speeches, working 2 to 4, doing the calls, 1-to-1 calls and group coaching programs, writing out this vision in an I am like, dear universe, I am so grateful. Thank you so much for this beautiful life that I get to live, and feel into how grateful you feel for this vision, right? And then once you write that down, like, literally reread that every single morning. That's my homework for you, because then this is really going to help you to feel less overwhelmed, because you know now where you're headed. And now it's not like, okay, well, I'm really confused about what I should be doing. It's like, no, like, you know what you should be doing. You know what you should be doing because you just told me what you should be doing. So in terms of like work, you know what your schedule is going to look like. You're going to be doing content creation, filming YouTube videos, recording podcasts, creating programs, arranging your events and your speeches, right? And doing one-on-one and group coaching calls. Bam, that's your work. That is your work. So don't think that there's things that need to be done first. I'm going to write this in my journal and repeat it every day. I work better writing it rather than reading it. Yeah, and definitely, like, even if you feel like I don't have the time to write all this down, at least read it. But I would 100% go and write this down in your journal when we hop off of this. And then from there, create your vision board and review both of those things every morning to get you in the energy of living this life that you want. This was so good. I love it. You actually have inspired me to go back and get more specific on my vision, which is what I'm about to do now. So let me know if there's any last questions that you have, or anything else that's coming up for you that you want to be, like, any advice or guidance that you're needing, any topics that you have questions about, before we hop off. And again, thank you for trusting in me to coach you through this. This is like my favorite thing in the whole world. Thank you so much. You are so freaking welcome. I cannot wait to hear how this goes. Message me when you're done and let me know how you're doing and how you feel after all of that. And like I said, I'm about to literally do the same thing. But yeah, I will see you guys next week. Those of you guys that were on Instagram, I will see you on Instagram next week, as well as in the Facebook community. If you're on Instagram and you want to be part of the Facebook community, shoot me a message and I can send you the link and you can come and join. And yeah, I will see you guys later. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. And I love you all so much. Mwah.